Hey, fellow toolboxers, this is Immigration Lawyer John Khosravi here with it's episode number 313 with our great friend and colleague Joseph Tsang. We're going to talk about the AILA National Conference, business operations, a lot of open-ended stuff. Before that, I do want to mention that we still have our marriage green card course happening. It's a great video course that's over 10 hours with like almost one-on-one training because you're getting a breakdown of every piece of the marriage process, so you can be really well developed to handle family type cases like that. But it also goes into adjustment of status, consular processing, and admissibility, all these kind of little things that's very important to know about. Also want to thank our wonderful sponsor, Serenade E-Immigration. You know about them. They're going to be at the AILA conference. They're going to have booths and a lot of fun stuff. You're going to see the CEO there, probably his family and his staff and everything. So definitely go check out. Seth, tell them John sent you. That's always a good thing. But I want to thank them for all their support they've been having for the magazine, the podcast. And having said that, everything going to be talked about here is not individual legal guidance, but I don't think we're going to go into talking about law too much. Joseph, good to see you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, good to be here.
Great, great. So, for those who don't know, Joseph, you've been on the show a lot. The show's been off for a bit, but you're in Southern California. You have a international law firm, essentially, it's an immigration law firm that has international branches. But I guess I'll start with this. Are you coming to AILA National this summer or not?
Yes, definitely. Chicago, here we come.
And are you bringing the whole team and crew? I know you go deep. I never see you come alone. Is that going to be the same this year?
We have about, I think, 8, 9 people coming. Yeah, everybody,
Wow.
everybody wants to go.
Are you going to charter a flight, or how are you going to? Are you just getting tickets for everybody?
No, everybody's flying over, getting different hotel rooms. But it's gonna be fun. We're trying to plan a lot of fun things, trying to meet a lot of people. Last year we were able to do some escape rooms. So this year we might try to do the same. But it's a fun company bonding time.
For sure, for sure. And how long have you been taking large groups of your team to AILA National?
The first time, well, actually, we did one back in like I think 7, 8 years ago when it was I think it was in New York. No, no, it was in Boston. Anyways, we did one group. It was really nice. And then COVID hit, and then we stopped doing a lot.
Yeah,
And then right after COVID in New York, a lot of people wanted to go. And so we just been
yeah,
doing it ever since then. It makes a big difference when you go with your own team.
yeah.
It's so worth it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking about the numbers too. You got all the planes, trains, and automobiles you got to get for that. But God bless you. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
operation. Are you going to be speaking? Are you at any particular events, or are you just meet and greeting? What are you going to be doing?
Meeting and greeting and reviewing. So can I do a plug about my AILA reviews on my own YouTube channel?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So we try to review at least 3 or 4 sessions every single day. So I'll attend them, I'll watch them, and then I'll condense down the hour sessions into like the top 4 or 5 takeaways, and then make a 5 minute, 10 minute video on it. And I do like 3 or 4 of those per day from Wednesday through Saturday. So, and we try to do it
Ooh,
sometimes in English, Chinese, and Spanish. So
who's
hopefully,
the
if you
audience?
can't attend it, huh?
Who's the audience you're aiming for on that podcast? Internal training, or is it
Well,
public audience?
most of the time I'm reviewing the stuff, so mostly other attorneys and other people who are in the immigration space, right? Because I'm condensing like an hour of in-depth perm strategies down to 5, 10 minutes. I
When
mean,
did you start doing this? I wasn't aware. What website or
oh
what where
yeah,
can we find this?
it's on our YouTube channel, right? So if you type in Zahn Associates on YouTube, we'll pop up. And every year during AILA, we've been doing it. So the first time I did it was when COVID first hit.
Mhm.
So I've been doing it since 2020, 21, 22, 23, and yeah, this year. So we've done it 2 years on YouTube when we had the lockdown, and then 2 years live. And if you go
Sorry, I
to
went
the
to the sound came from your video. Your YouTube channel is so eclectic. It's just a lot of different things.
yeah,
That's why. What is the mission and the general idea you have towards your YouTube channel, which has grown substantially? I remember when you only had 500. Now I'm looking, you have almost 20,000. God bless, man. You've been working hard
right.
at it. I see on TikTok too. Like, you guys put work into editing these videos, but like, what themes are you going for? What kind of channel is your aim of your YouTube channel?
It really is just who we are, right? We don't have one designated thing. We're just trying to document our journey. So if you want to really divide it into two camps, one camp is just celebrating all the success stories. So every time we get one success story that's really difficult, hard won, we want to share with the world and we talk about it. We show
Mhm.
the brief, we show the strategy, we just like open, like share everything for like
Yeah.
the 10 minutes. So that's like half the videos that are on there. And then there's the other half of videos, which is just everything that we do living life here at the firm, our celebrations, our graduations, doing triathlon together, going to Not Scary Farm, going to AILA,
Mhm.
vlogging our different events. It's just life here at the firm. And the reason why we do that is because we want to communicate like we are just a group of people, just like everybody else. We're no special. We have birthdays, we have maternity leave, we're struggling with like phone problems and IT problems,
Yeah.
but we power through it and we try to win, you know? And so that's really the whole idea. We're not, you know, I know different channels have different goals and aims, but that's really just who we are, celebrating the success stories in different categories: EB1As, L1s, family cases, waivers, DACA, humanitarian parole. Doesn't matter, right? As long as
Yeah.
it's a hard win case, we want to share it. And then the other half is just life.
I see, and they're highly edited. I mean, you guys are putting time into this, or at least some members of the team are really, really create some high end stuff. It looks like it's amazing. It's like watching television, and your team is making television quality stuff. It's a wow.
We're,
That
we're,
is
we're trying to get better. We've been doing it for 4 or 5 years now, so hopefully we did get a little bit better.
cool. So, what are your plans? I mean, you going to AILA? This the team development. Are you just further going to be, and not just only? I'm trying to scale my team, and speaking of IT nightmares and this software and that CRM, it's just constantly like, I'm like, it's like it seems like it's never ending. Doing the business side of operating, scaling a business, but like, what does the next rest of the year look for you?
I It's really hard for me to think past 3 months. Just so many things happening. But let's see. We have AILA coming up in June, but literally tomorrow I already have a meeting with the CBP officers at LAX.
Hmm.
And then after that, I'm speaking at a real estate conference, teaching all the real estate attorneys and real estate agents how to better serve their clients who have immigration issues. So that's happening in May. June is AILA. But right after I come back from June, our entire media team, we're going to VidCon. Basically, that's a conference for influencers and content creators, TikTok,
Yeah.
YouTube, learning how to be better in this digital age. So that's the conference like the week after AILA. And then the summer hits, and a lot of people are traveling at the firm. All the kids are out of school, so schedule is all over the place. But yeah, we got to plan that. So I think, oh, and then the one big thing is we're remodeling our office. It's been 4 years in the making. We can only do like one corner at a time.
Yeah.
But by July, everything should be done. And we want to make one new tour video introducing our firm and the entire process. I mean, it was such a long process, and I want to share all the things that we did wrong and right. And so people don't have to make the same mistakes. But yeah, like so much, so much. So that's to the end of July, and I can't plan after that. It's just been insane.
Well, very cool. And I mean, your firm. How many attorneys on general are you working with on your in your firm at this time?
I think 6, 7 now. We just had 3 pass the bar, so we're very, very
Wow,
happy. They've been with us for a long time, and they just passed the bar, and,
congrats.
now they're full-fledged attorneys. Obviously, they still have a lot to learn, but yeah, and then there's all the other people that have been with us continuously.
So it seems like with all the activities you do, is there a longevity or low turnover rate because of this stuff? I mean, we're talking public, but I'd imagine people really love working there that do all this stuff.
Yeah, well, I think there's only been we graduate a lot of people. So the internship is like 6 months, and some people stay for an extra 6 months. Some people stay for like a year and a half, but typically they graduate to go to law school, or they graduate and they go somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And then some people come back after going to work at different places, and they say, "No, we really like working at your firm," so they want to come back. But generally speaking, very low turnover, I would say. I mean, we've added 2 or 3 new hires every single year for the past like 5, 6 years, and then only like 2 people I think have like left in the sense of pursuing something else. Um, yeah, so we've grown from like 3, 4 people to the 20 full time, another plus another 20 part time that we are now. So, I mean, we're not big, we're not small, we're bigger than before. are we going to keep on going? It depends on how everybody else manages. I mean, I don't have like this grand vision. Like I said, I can't see more than 3 months ahead. I'm just trying to live in the present, do things that's fun and good now, and doing things that's worthwhile. There's just so many things that's happening. And there's more than enough to do, right? Enough to plan, enough to celebrate, and so a couple months at a time.
I hear you. I hear you. It because one thing I tried to plan recently, like year out, but I quickly realized like anything past 3 months or 6 months, it's just gonna do it and kind
Yeah,
of direction of which way to go. So if I'm not going that direction, at least I notice I'm not going there, and I could explain to myself, okay, that's why I pivoted. But just life, it's too crazy to really expect much 3 months down the line. In reality, even 3 months, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
right. Yeah, and just stay productive, like, the days are long, but the years are short, right? So just work really hard, get all these things out, hit your checklists, and by the half a year mark, by Q3, you take a look and like, wow, I've already done more this year than the past few years combined, and
Yeah.
so you don't necessarily need to set out these grand visions, as long as which direction you're going, and you just stick to that. And then, because everything good takes years to do. If you
Yeah.
want to create a good podcast, if you want to create a good YouTube channel, it will take years. So just don't worry about it and just keep on plowing ahead.
Yeah, there's a long-term exponential growth, and like it's more of like accumulation of the skills you need. So like I'm seeing having a successful law firm, there's like, you have to be a lawyer, understand what's going on and stuff, but then once you scale, there's like certain tools you got to understand. It takes a while to learn those. There's people management, there's financial stuff and payroll and accounting stuff that gets more complex. I'm getting more and more transactions now. I just do my accounting myself. I'm like, oh man, now I got to do accounting and payroll. I got to start a company, but not big enough. I was listening to this podcast, and the guy was saying like, maybe between like 0 to 8 employees is one thing, but once you go to 8 to 30 employees, it comes a no man's land there because you got to probably get past 30 to make it really happening. But to 830, it's like you got all this overhead, but you got to make it roll to get the next level. Was there such a feeling for you guys with the number
For
of people?
sure. I heard this number. It's 0 to 3 is a complete 100% transformation,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I
And that
went
makes
through. Yeah,
sense. Solo to having a team of 2, 3 other people. You need to create an entire new system. Going from 3 to 10 is also complete transformation, because now instead of just you being the center, now you have 10, 7 other people, 9 other people. So they need to have their own little department, a little pyramid forms. But then from 10 to 30, generally it's about the same until you hit the 30 mark, because the same system you govern 10 governs 30. And then from 30, it's the same system all the way to 100, and the 100 to 300, and so on, right? So,
yeah,
um, like it's always harder in the beginning, just like, wealth building. The first 100,000 is really hard, nearly impossible. And then you get to the million mark, it's like nearly impossible. But then it's the same effort going from
yeah.
100,000 to a million to 10 million, 10 million to like 100 million, right? So it's exponential towards the end, but the hard work of building down that really good foundation is the same.
And like, what would you say are like some foundational stuff you're working on right now, studying and implementing that you were challenges to you? But I mean, you're still challenged, probably, but you're trying to institute.
Well, we just promoted 3 people to become like, directors, partners at the firm. And they're relatively young, and they're learning as well. But they've also been with us for like 5 years. They're very
Mhm.
capable, and they just lack the confidence. But I'm like pushing them a little to be able to achieve that. I trust that they're capable. But it's the whole firm learning how to work with all these younger, but they are becoming like managers type individuals, right? And then we just had 3 people pass the bar. So, like, welcoming in new attorneys, and building out that teamwork structure, and then everybody really figuring out what they really want to specialize in. Some people really want to go into more the family divorce slash, immigration, right? How to
Mhm.
deal with 751 waivers better. Some people want to do the wills and trust in relation to green cards, right? And because that whole tax accounting is completely unique in the immigration space. So it's like people want to pick their lane, and we're all trying to govern and learn and how to work with each other. So that's something that we are in the process of learning and working towards,
That
And
seems
so
like one's gonna be ongoing forever. Again, when you get a group of people to have to do on one mission, I really appreciate like when I see these people in society and communities were able to like gather enough people's attention on one thing to continuously evolve, like push that down the road. That's such a hard thing to do. It requires a lot of charisma, will, a certain spirit. It's very powerful. Like I remember when I was in law school, it's kind of a side story, fully makes sense of this, but it just goes to show how I feel it is. Um, I was dating a young woman who was top in her corporate law class, and the corporate law professor, her husband was head of like the corporate law associate for all the rich lawyers that do corporation law, and they had this one gala. And she asked her star student to come and work the door, and then could come meet the main speaker who was going to be speaking that night. And she's like, "You bring your friends too." So we went there. We were in law school; those friends, all us lawyers. So we did the name tags and all that. And then at the end, we had dinner, and the main speaker is Tony Blair. Was going to come meet us and talk with us. Now, I'm not a big Tony Blair fan because I think the Iraq War was nonsense. Nowadays, as I get older, I'm like, who knows what was pushing him to do something? So I don't really hate or despise anybody. At the time, I really hated him, but I was younger. Um, I probably still have hate because of what stuff he's done, but whatever. So, nonetheless, he came and shook my hand at the end of the show. I was like, in my head, like, oh, that mother effer's coming, bleep myself, all that. But then as soon as he looked in my eyes and shook my hand, there was this like energy, power, and charisma where I just start smiling. I'm like, yeah, like, hey, Tony, like, wow, Mr. Blair, whatever. And I was like, these people have some power that can make it reach a level. Bill Clinton is the same way. There's just this powerful, like, it's not distributed evenly in society. Or maybe it could be built or something like that. But some people like just could take a large, country and lead it, whether it's to the ditch or to the mountain hot top, who knows? But
Yeah.
it's all having to hire people and go through skill sets, everything. You see some people have better at others. You see your own weaknesses and like, should I
Yeah.
bother to make my weakness stronger hiring out, or is it like my overall is okay? It's all these like internal balances I got to think about.
Yeah. It's fun though. And I
Yeah,
mean, as stressful as it is, but it's like it's game in real life, you know? Like when you play board games or you play video games or you watch football and sports, like all that strategy, it all translates over into your actual practice. You know, like how do you strategize? What's your gameplay? What, and how do you train every day? Right. So it all feeds into each other.
yeah, it's changing my perspective on life because of all this. I mean, the stress is kind of like me. When a diamond has to be put in rough circumstances to get shiny and kind of stuff. And when I now look back, I see life is kind of like it's not about what necessarily going to happen after we die or something like that. It's like we're here and there's just hurdles and circumstances. Hurdles not even a negative term, but circumstances that keep popping in front of you, and you have to use the tools given to you how to deal with that. So it's like playing a video of Super Mario Brothers running down. It might be a shell coming at you or something. It could be a mushroom, it makes you go big.
Yeah.
But you never know what's going to happen. You just got to play it as a game and stick to your values. For me, it's like, have courage, be wise, be patient,
Yes.
and all that kind of stuff, and keep it pure. And that's it. So it's like, oh, these difficulties come. I gotta see I could portion my energy out to do it properly while being a good husband and father, all that kind of stuff. And yeah,
Yes.
it gets gamified. It makes it more interesting and keeps life from being boring rather than just. I mean, there's a system of you got to make enough money to be able to survive and pay your
Yeah.
bills, stuff like that. Then you're allowed to enter the fun aspect of life. Maybe it's not like that. Maybe we
Right.
build things up in our head that we need to make so much money to be happy or whatever, or to get things
Right.
going.
And you really need to enjoy the process of it, right? Because once you beat the Mario game, then game ends and actually the fun ends, right? And so
Yeah.
the fun is actually in trying to overcome all of those challenges. And because if you don't enjoy the process, this building of the law firm, this practice of being a lawyer will destroy you, will burn you
Oh
out.
yeah.
And so you really need to enjoy the process of client coming to you with a problem, you trying to solve it, you not knowing how USCIS or the consulate or CBP officer is going to adjudicate. And then you do your best and you have to just have faith that, good would prevail and grace will be extended. And then you give the client courage because they are the ones who have to face it and suffer the consequence. And then you
Yeah.
train the team to, continue to pray for them and help them. And
Yeah.
then it wins and then they're happy and then they say thank you and you go on to the next case, like you were building up a system so we can continue to help people, and you must enjoy that. If you only enjoy the checks coming in, there's so many other ways to make
Yeah.
money, and also when it gets too hard you're just going to drop it, and if you drop it you're just never going to be that successful,
Mhm.
like I heard a saying recently, it's kind of funny. It's like if you're complaining about the industry that you're in and how hard it is and all the challenges, It's like complaining that you don't know how to swim and this pool sucks and you go to a different pool. Like you think it's going to be easier if you change to being a personal injury attorney. You think it's going to be easier to be a family law attorney or go to litigation. Probably not, right? Or you think it's easier, working in-house and dealing with the politics, right, of being in a company. You just don't know. So if you give up, then it ends. But if you keep
Yeah.
on striving and you learn how to swim and you conquer, then you can actually enjoy and treat it like a vacation as you're
Yeah.
working. So that resonated with me the other day when I heard it.
Yeah, it's a fabulous life. There's a song that came up on Pandora I was listening to, and my kids like now is this young African kid, and this guy did a remix of his singing. It's like it's a beautiful world or something like that. I said it a million times, can't remember the lyrics, but it's I'm trying to take this. With the onslaught of work and this and that, like I found like peace and like just enjoying like what's around. I realized, oh, okay, like it's all good. We can fix it up. It always is working one way or another. Some time moves forward. It is what it is. So it's
Right.
been pretty good. How could people reach out to you if they wanted to just talk with you or ask a question or something like that?
Uh, they could pretty easily book a consultation with me in any way, right? You could email the company, you can DM, our Instagram, our YouTube, our Facebook, our Yelp, our Google. There's so many ways to contact us, and I'm really, you know, uh, years ago, we were really the back end office to a lot of law firms, and I kind of missed that. Since then, we stopped being that because we just got swamped with our own caseload. But I did enjoy the time when I was a younger attorney, and a lot of firms had difficult RFEs and noids, and they needed help, and they don't have the time and capacity to tackle it. And I was able to spend my weeks, just helping out different firms. But now I still want to be able to do that, but I just do it in the form of the consultation. So if people have
Yeah.
a difficult O1 case, EB1A case, just feel free, book an appointment, set it up, and then show me the RFE, show me your draft. I'll give you my strategy, and we'll tackle things together. But our firm is built from those experiences of tackling very difficult cases, and that's pretty much still mainly what we do. We just do the difficult cases. I know it's a very low profit margin, and we're taking over all the headaches from all the firms. But it's okay. I enjoy that, and we built our entire team around that. So
It's neat how the ecosystem could be tweaked to whatever finds you. Like I found my way because we get a lot in the last 4 months. We're getting like daily resumes that are NIW quality nonstop, and like, but the thing is, we have no like ability to handle it. And I've tried to create a system for it, but we're just not a volume firm. Like I've
yeah,
like marriage cases, and it's like you have to build up and scaling. It just I don't know if I could do it so that scaled up NIW. It's like I like this way. They get a complex one. You work with the people and you talk with them. You get to know the field. You get to know their history. And it's kind of like a bonding experience. But when you got overhead and stuff, like it's like, oh, we got a big fast. It's that challenge of business. It's like the sales promise versus the operations. And the customer service always has to remain whatever it is, whatever happens. Because if that goes down, it's just so dangerous. So hold the high standards, but
yeah.
it creates stress trying to keep standards up consistently. But that's just, I bet
Yeah.
Kobe and Jordan and stuff were stressed. they
One
deal.
one one way that I found really helpful is to ask the client for help. So a lot of these people, NIW people, EP1A people, EP1C people, they themselves are pretty extraordinary. That's the reason why they are being able to apply for this. And so when
Yeah.
you tell them this is my struggle, I just don't know how to pump out like 5, 7 cases ahead of you, and we need to. Sometimes they come up with some ingenious solutions for you, and like we were able to do. This is a so being swamped with NIW is kind of funny, right? Like, we have so many things to do, too many NIWs. We have the problem of so many NIW people wanting to upgrade to EB1A, right? So I've
Oh,
done so
yeah,
many of
that's
those. That is another ball game, right? That is a complete different ball game. The amount of work that's involved. And then I asked them for help, and we just did this one case where they're like, "Sure, no problem. You could teach me. I'll do it, and then I'll give it back to you, and then you can
wow,
file." So they prepared most of it, and then we filed the case within 2 weeks, and they got approved without an RFE.
that's
But
interesting, yeah.
I mean, we're not charging any less. They're doing so much more, but they love that. And so I'm a big fan of enlisting
Yeah.
clients to be your partners. I know most big firms completely shun away from that. They don't let the client do anything. They don't want the client to do anything. That only makes it more complicated. I was trained at a firm that had that belief. I just beg to differ when the situations are like this.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the lawyer in that way where you do it, but like it's just like the yeah, if you have the client help out, and actually it does help out, even though like I kind of don't want to do so much work because they're paying for it. The quality of the case gets better, and I like clients knowing what's going on because a lot of times they don't know what's going on. So like it's better they stay involved. It depends on the client, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's it. Really help them organize. I'm like, help me. I can't understand why there's four different types of swimming competitions. Why is this one like this? Why is like those random stuff? But if you go on NIW TB1A, that's a different level of stuff. Because if you went NIW the first time around, it's probably they're more better for NIW than is EB1A. So that's even a harder hurdle to go overcome.
Right. Yep. But they're good cases, if they
Yeah.
qualify.
That's
So
amazing. I mean, we've got so many cancer researchers I mean, everything's backed up to visible again, but like neuroscientists, brain surgeon, we just got into the science thing, and it's just hitting off. And we
yeah,
really want to do it, but it's just like uh, there's all the sorts of hassle of the case. Like you start a case, and then it takes them
yeah,
6 months, 9 months, and we like hold the funds until it's ready. Like for marriage cases, the turnover is so quick that it's like the funds come in, funds go out. For these cases, might be holding these are, I guess, technical IOLTA kind of discussions that law firms have. Maybe associates don't think about this, but it's like there's a cash flow crunch when we have like a bunch of cases, but we got to submit in, but like the client's taking too long to sign an I-140 or just send us the birth certificate, whatever it is. And it's like, come on, we got to get it going if we're holding funds like that on those kind of cases. So like
right.
that's just like it. The added dimension for managing company to think about that or like just tracking IOLTA itself. Just like my trust account is like, oh, I hate doing this trust account stuff. I can't wait to get bigger. So I give someone else to deal with this.
Yeah. AI should probably be able to do
Yeah,
it.
that's the thing. I got to hold off a little bit more, and the AI should do it. I did right this morning. We were talking about this before the recording, but I downloaded this thing on Zoom, and we're not recording this on Zoom, but we had a team meeting and it recorded, and like it took crazy notes, like it broke everything down and the order and everything. And then it talked. I said sometimes I talk too fast. It's like it told me like 60% of the time you talk too fast, which is
Mhm.
complete true. So now I could focus on that. I swore a little bit. I'm like, I need to say this less, or you call you guys less. It helped me fine tune things I'm not going to notice or not going to replay my video, and it took notes too. So if my team members aren't taking good notes, which I hate,
Mhm.
at least there's a backup to review what the AI said. So the AI is going to be a game changer. Kind of maybe hold off on growing the firm more until the AI kicks in even better because that's going to be such a game changer. Maybe it
Yeah.
get me out of a job. Maybe I'll do the I-130s itself.
Well, I highly doubt that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and your value is not in filling out the I-130 form. But yeah, training your staff to use it is also a big thing, right? Like a lot of my interns and a lot of the staff here, my instructions are very explicit. I do not want to see your work. If you show me your work, I'll be upset. You have 1 hour. I only want you to use ChatGPT to pump out this memo, right? So make ChatGPT write it and then make them rewrite it, and you can only give instructions. I want to see your instructions to it. That's your work that I want to see, but I don't want to
That's
see
very
you
true.
actually editing it. So, and yeah, I see them pump out some pretty interesting things, and once they are very competent and capable, it's just like learning how to use the internet when it just started, right? Or learning how to like search and stuff. So, yeah.
I was big on it when ChatGPT came out in December at the conference. We had a O1 conference or seminar in Los Angeles, and I was amazed. Now I got caught up with scaling the company, and then the last few weeks I've been reading books and having ChatGPT as a compendium. And so whenever I read even a word I don't understand or a passage or like something that like I want more insight, I just copy paste it or take a photo, whatever, put it in ChatGPT, and then like it breaks down all these ideas. So it's like having a very smart friend who's helping you read a book at the same time. And that's
Yep.
really then I'll start engaging the AI, and I might go half an hour, have deep conversations with it.
Yeah.
And insight. Sometimes it makes mistakes. I clarify it, but just me explaining what it needs to think.
Yeah.
It's a new muscle in my brain that's working. That's going to be the new muscle everyone needs to probably have.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's just like just ask somebody. It gives you the like not somebody. It's a computer.
Yeah.
That's wild. This crazy
Yeah.
situation.
It's definitely made all of our cases better. I could like say that confidently. You know, before it takes humans, you know, 80 hours to pump out some good research. And now we spend 40 hours and it could be like 3 times as good or 4 times as good of the research.
Mhm.
And so like it's faster, it's better. I'm trying to have everybody use it more in different ways for all the different case types. How to use ChatGPT for marriage waivers, how to use ChatGPT for 601 waivers, how to use ChatGPT for to prove somebody's extraordinary. They're
Yeah.
all different, and it's very interesting.
You know, one thing on my how much time more do you have? We've been here for half an
No,
hour.
I'm
I'm not
good.
sure.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
Um, you know, there's companies working on it. Serenade's working on it. What's his name? The gentleman, Greg Siskin.
Yeah,
It's something AI is creating. But like, they're trying to use it so I can read AO decisions properly and really break it down what the thing is. But
yeah,
it's hard because I can read AO decision and like 40% of it is just garbage.
yeah,
Just like repeat language. Getting like the nuanced differences is hard. But if we could do that, and
yeah,
save the trouble having to read, 10 AO decisions for EB1As, 20 L1 decisions. That was
yeah,
sucking the life out. I enjoyed it. It's one of those painful things that I enjoyed.
yeah.
But I think just do it and kind of, but I think I'd sit and train it because to help it understand what to look for because these things can be
Right.
so differently written. But that's going to be a game changer because the
Yeah.
knowledge level is going to, and what's interesting, what it really comes down, we see it already is essentially all the information we need to do anything we want is available right now. But
Mhm.
there's something about humanity, the more access you get, the less you want it. And so, like 100 years ago, you have to go to a library and go search books and like
Right.
and write. And like we'd have scholars that were really hardcore.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure it's fair to say I kind of feel like we don't have that because like seeing what's going on in the world, like the level of scholarship seems to have come down.
Uh-huh.
But they should be more. You think it'd be more the access to all this information, but it's primarily going to pornography on the internet. They say 70. I was watching hearing somebody's like 70% of it is porn. I'm like, okay, so that's where it's
Well,
gonna.
we do know a lot more about rainforest frogs and their habitats, so
Yeah,
the PhDs are they're always pushing the boundary of human intellect just a little
yeah,
bit further.
yeah. It's a because I have clients at NIWs that like are doing really. It's interesting stuff on plants and stuff. That's bigger thing, but they do get kind of caught down in some really minute stuff. I'm like trying, even not asking, what's the bigger picture I can connect to? They'll know what it is. I have to like pull it out of them. I think everybody just so caught up in the little thing they do that the big picture gets lost in it.
Right, right. Yeah, no, building a firm, using the tools, training the people to use the tools. That's the game, you know.
Yeah.
As technology continues to evolve, um, but we're so lucky to be able to experiment with all of this, you know, like um, a revolutionary change. You know, that's in our generation we get to experience too, right? The internet, Web 3.0, and then arguably, you know, blockchain, and also this, like, you know, back 100 years ago, like, you know, one big change with like the light bulb, like completely
Yeah.
revolutionized their world. But that's just meaning having a little bit more light for a little longer, you know.
Yeah.
So it's fun, yeah. And we get to work with so many, like you're based here in SoCal as well. Like we have so many different ethnicities here.
Mhm.
And every ethnicity, every culture, every age group has their own strengths, you know, and I love that. Just everybody is so talented with so much to offer and so many great universities with really bright students. So I mean, I think we're very fortunate.
We say that like I have so many clients that are in the same field, but for confidentiality, I can't necessarily introduce them, or maybe they don't want to, or shy or something. But like, just look at your clients alone. If you got 8 of your scientist clients you've had over the last 10 years together, like, you're like, hey, by the way, I know your interests, and you guys go like, if that was possible, you're in our roles as immigration law firms and attorneys, we're like
Yeah.
a central node in a huge amount of talent and wealth and passion and stuff coming to one place. Like that's one thing. Uh, it's been hard, but like the way I'm viewing my firm is passion based immigration, which is you're passionate about what your family, so you want to bring your loved ones, fiance, family, or you're passionate about a certain field or skill or something like that will help those with NIWs, EB1A. So my focus, like, that's how I view the world. People are doing really passionate work to make it. It doesn't necessarily go to immigration, it doesn't necessarily go to humanitarian work, which you don't do, but that's how I put it. But where was I going with all this? But yeah, like setting up the EB part's been a little bit of a hassle recently, but it's just we have so many of these people who are passionate in these fields, and I'm like, wow, like I wish to get friends and share information and there's got to be something. I have all these cancer researchers that don't know each other, and I'm like, they each come with their letters from top scientists in the field, and they're different people. I'm like, who knows? You guys seem like you should connect some way. I don't know. Maybe
Wait,
we're
are
taking
you
it.
telling me you've never connected two clients to
I
help each
have.
other?
It's just not enough. I have like on especially a lot of tech stuff when it's Silicon Valley people they kept,
Mhm.
but like it's just the clients are so busy, they're so caught up that even when the I-140 is done, like they're
Uh-huh.
just it's just hard to keep track of people.
Oh, okay, okay. I have 2 stories, 2 stories, and I don't do this ever intentionally, but I had a violinist and I had a maker of violins, both
Wow,
wanting
that's cool.
EB1A at the same time. So they wrote each other letter recs, and they both got it right. But because the violinist, I only play the best violin, and then
Yeah.
the maker is like, I only make it for the best, and they were able to like another two that I matched. Is somebody who wants to sell their business after they got their EB1C, and somebody else who wants to buy a business to do an
That's
LN.
interesting.
So it's like, okay, I don't take a referral fee. I don't, introduce clients, and I definitely got permission from both in order to, and I just let them talk. It's like, hey, I'm just
Mhm.
making a connection. You guys go talk about it, but it just happens that I know, and I don't, purposely do it. I know you totally can. Like, for example, attorneys doing marriage-based immigration cases are in the perfect spot to create a dating app, right? I mean,
Yeah.
come on, we know everybody who needs a date, and the benefits they can get, but is it the are we, ethically in a good place to do that? Maybe not, right? um so anyways, it's very interesting what immigration lends itself to, and that's what I find is so interesting. It touches on every aspect of life:
Mhm.
constitutional law, divorce, family, criminal, patents, startups, IPO, like
Yeah.
everything that people, a human would do, especially in America. Immigration will touch on it. And so it's fascinating, it's fun, and that's why we do what we do.
You mentioned some corporate stuff. I'm going to butcher her name. I think she's a great attorney, Natalie Poluchian, I think. It may be the wrong person I'm thinking about, but wrote a blog about the new corporate changes and the requirements of representation, all that we got to do. So I read it. I'm like, I got to save this and read it again. But with my E2s and stuff, I got to be careful if I'm registering the company, what effects it has. Just that I wish I could have the link right now. Save. I got to go search for it. With
Uh-huh.
my phone, I think I was reading it. That's something to look into. But yeah, immigration. So
Yeah,
the touch on everything is amazing. Um,
it's fun. It
yeah,
and I'm naturally curious, so I like learning about every field, and so getting to learn how to do everything. I mean, because you don't learn everything in law school, right? You barely like learn,
yeah,
the basics of law in general. But now you get to into the nitty gritties of learning how an actual firm actually operates, and buy and sell and merge, and the reasons and the political reasons behind it, and why people
mhm,
migrate. And it's like, oh wow, that's so fascinating.
yeah. Well, good stuff. Just thanks for coming on again. Thanks to technology to see each other more than we could have if these things weren't here. But I'll see you in Chicago at least, so I know we'll see you then.
Sounds good.
God bless, man. Be safe. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. All right, take care. Bye.